Good morning, students. Today we will discuss chapter 2 of auditing: objects, importance and limitations of auditing. Let us discuss the main object of auditing. The main object of audit is to verify the accounts prepared by client, and it is to gain knowledge about the correctness, fairness and truthfulness of accounts. We do auditing because we want to know whether the accounts prepared are showing the correct and true state of affairs of business or not. There are secondary objectives of auditing also. Secondary, or we can say subsidiary objectives, are first to detect the errors, to detect the frauds and to prevent the errors and fraud. Let us discuss these one by one. First is the detection of errors. Detection of error means we want to detect the various errors that may be committed while doing accounting. They may be intentional or they may be unintentional. Sometimes we do error because we were not aware of some accounting rules, or sometimes unintentionally some error is committed. Let us discuss some errors one by one. First is error of omission. Error of omission means that we have completely omitted a transaction from being recorded. Sometimes we completely forget to record a transaction. In that case, that error does not show any effect on the trial balance as the entry does not appear in the books. So for example, I have purchased goods for rupees 500 from Mr. X but did not record the same in my books. Then what will happen? Trial balance will tally, but there is inaccuracy of that amount. Next is error of commission. Error of commission means a transaction is wholly or partially recorded but wrongly in the books of accounts. Some errors may be complete, some errors may be partial. Partial errors are usually shown by the trial balance, but complete error is very difficult to detect as the trial balance remains tallied. For example, I have purchased goods rupees 5400 but made an entry of 4500. This is a major error. However, this error will not affect trial balance as both sides of trial balance will tally. So, auditor requires a great deal of caution, alertness, intelligence to detect such errors. Next is compensatory errors. Compensatory errors are two or more errors which occur at same time in such a manner that they balance out the effect of each other. ये कुछ इस तरह की एरर्स हैं जो कि एक दूसरे को कंपनसेट कर देती हैं. जैसे कि मोहन के अकाउंट को मैंने डेबिट करना था 20 से, पर मैंने 200 से कर दिया. इसी तरीके से विनोद के अकाउंट को भी 20 की जगह 200 से डेबिट कर दिया. तो दोनों ने एक दूसरे के इफ़ेक्ट को आउट बैलेंस कर दिया, और ये एरर्स जो हैं बहुत इन डेप्थ एग्जामिनेशन से ही पता लगाई जा सकती हैं और बहुत लॉन्ग पीरियड्स तक ये अनडिटेक्टेड रहती हैं. देन इज़ एरर ऑफ प्रिंसिपल. Error of principle means because of lack of knowledge of double entry system, we commit some error, like some bookkeeper or some accountant may do wrong classification between income and capital. जैसे 1000 रुपये हमने स्पेंड किए बिल्डिंग के रिपेयर्स पर हमने बिल्डिंग अकाउंट में डेबिट करने की जगह उसको डेबिट कर दिया रिपेयर्स में. ऐसे ही हमने रेंट दिया लैंडलॉर्ड को, तो हमने लैंडलॉर्ड को डेबिट कर दिया इंस्टेड ऑफ रेंट अकाउंट. इस तरह की एरर्स को हम कहते हैं एरर्स ऑफ प्रिंसिपल. दीज आर नॉट डन इंटेंशनली, दे आर कमिटेड अननोइंगली विदाउट नॉलेज. नेक्स्ट इज एरर ऑफ duplication. Duplication error means same entry is posted twice. I have received rupees 5000 from Ram. I have recorded that twice in the books. That is error of duplication. So these errors are unintentional, but due to errors there may be something wrong in the books. So we need to detect the errors. And how to locate these errors? We have some different steps to locate the errors. Like we can check the totals of trial balance. If both sides are not matching, then we will find the amount of difference. Then we will able to know whether debit exceeds or debit falls short, or whether vice versa. Then the difference can be halved or maybe divided by 9. If it is completely divided by 9, then there may be error of transportation of digits, like 298 was transported wrongly, or like there is a difference between 928 and 289 is 639, that is divisible by 9, then this is the error of transportation. Students, it means if the amount of difference is divided by 9, certainly there is error of transportation. Next is checking of journal. Each and every entry of journal should be checked, then checking of subsidiary books, then posting errors are to be detected, or we can check the balances of ledger, we can check the opening entries, and we can, if still there is a lot of difference, then we can check to current trial balance with the last year trial balance. There may be some error. We can detect that because last year trial balance was showing some big differences there. There is a discrepancy, a big number discrepancy between this year's current year's figure with the last year's figure. Next is detection of fraud. Frauds are always intentional. With the aim of harming organization, we commit fraud. Errors, or we can say mistakes, can be of two types: intentional and unintentional. If the mistake is intentional, then it is fraud. If the mistake is unintentional, we can call that as error. Now, frauds may be of three types. One is embezzlement of cash, next can be misappropriation of goods, and third may be manipulation of goods. Embezzlement of cash means it is very easy to misappropriate cash. Some people may commit fraud by doing smuggling of cash, taking cash out of business, and there are many ways to do this, like not recording receipts of cash in the books, or not recording cash sales, or there is some goods returned on sale or return basis or through VPP are returned, and that cash has been already received, that is embezzled, or making some fictitious entries, or stealing checks, something not showing loan received in the books of accounts. Any cash received by the organization is not shown and taken away by the people in the organization, that is embezzlement of cash. Similarly, second point is embezzlement of goods or misappropriation of goods. It is stealing goods from store after making purchases, embezzling goods before they reach to the godown, or removing certain goods on account of purchase returns, not entering the goods as sales returns. These are some frauds that may be committed by the organization staff. Next is third is manipulation of accounts. Accounts are normally manipulated by the managers, owners. Normally goods and cash is misappropriated by the lower level employees, but manipulation of account is done by the higher level people in the organization. Accounts are manipulated with the objective of saving tax, or hiding the true picture, or enhancing profits, or getting advantage, or making or for maintaining the dividends, or for obtaining loans. Sometimes how do we do this manipulation of accounts? Sometimes we show extra depreciation, sometimes we do not claim depreciation, sometimes we overvalue the assets and liabilities, sometimes we undervalue. Depending upon our objective, we do manipulations. Sometimes we do window dressing, sometimes we create secret reserves. Next is prevention of frauds and errors. It is impossible for the auditor to put a complete end to all errors and frauds, but as he exerts moral pressure, the errors are reduced to a large extent. Other objects are moral pressure on employees. As somebody is doing some check, employees are aware of that, then they will not commit frauds and errors. Satisfying government official. It is not mandatory for sole proprietorship or partnership firm to get audited, but still they do because that satisfy tax authorities. Fulfilling legal requirements, company form of organization, For company form of organization, it is legally mandatory, so they get their accounts audited. Next, advantages of audit. Journal advantage. Journal advantage is knowledge about the actual position of business. We get to know that our books are showing the correct picture. Next is detection of frauds and error, as it is already discussed in the presentation. It puts moral pressure on employees that somebody is going to examine us, and it creates pressure on the employees to not to commit fraud. Alertness आ जाती है लोगों के अंदर, healthy criticism आ जाता है, they become more disciplined. प्रॉपर वैल्यूएशन ऑफ बिजनेस होनी शुरू हो जाती है. ऑडिटेड अकाउंट्स जो हैं उससे गुडविल की वैल्यूएशन करनी आसान हो जाती है और उस पर लोग डिपेंड भी ज़्यादा होना चाहते हैं. इफ़ यू आर सेलिंग योर बिजनेस और कन्वर्टिंग इट इनटू कंपनी, देन ऑडिटेड अकाउंट्स आर helpful in proper valuation of business. Then goodwill gets increased if the books are audited, and it is easy for the organization to obtain loans. Helpful in receiving compensation. In case there is theft, fire, then it is easy to take compensation from insurance company. Assessment of taxes considered more better, and it prevented arbitrary assessment of tax. If one wants to get insolvent, then it is helpful. Similarly, in formulating dividend and bonus plan, we can depend upon audited books. Advantages to various organizations. There are 3 types of organizations, like sole proprietor concerns, partnership concerns, and joint stock companies. To sole proprietor, it acts as a proof in court in case there is some dispute. It is helpful in conversion of business into partnership, as other partners who want to get enter feel audited accounts are showing the true state of affairs. Comparative study possible. If we want to compare our organization with other organization or our organization with previous year, then it is dependable. Next, assessment of wealth tax. Wealth tax, a sole proprietor has lot of assets, and upon his death, taxes are to be paid upon his wealth. Audited accounts prove very helpful. Similarly, income tax and sales tax can be given. Our liability can be determined through audited books. For partnership firm, it brings confidence among the partners. It helps in valuation of business, and in case there dissolution of firm, peaceful settlement is possible because of audited accounts. For a joint stock company, confidence among shareholders in the management, as shareholders are not directly participating in the management of company, they feel assured that books are showing the true picture in case books are audited. Investment firm can accumulate capital by issuing shares and debentures, as public has faith on audited accounts. Company can declare dividends without no suspicion, as their books are audited, and auditor certifies in his report that dividend has been declared and distributed at appropriate rate. Facilitates amalgamation, absorption, and reconstruction of the companies. The purchase consideration is greatly facilitated by audited accounts. Now, the limitations of audit. As we say that audited books help in this way, that way, but it is not a conclusive proof. There may be chances that there may be some inaccuracies in the books. It is just auditor has checked, but he may certify it, but it is not 100% foolproof method that you can say that the books will show the true picture. There may be inaccuracies. Next point is also same. Auditing does not guarantee 100% accuracy. There may be inaccuracies, there may be mistakes. Auditor never pay more attention to the full attention to the minor things, and there may be possibilities there for irregularities at those minor things. certain frauds remain undetected. If the fraud is intentional, pre-planned, and very well planned, then it may go undetected. Auditor does not understand the nature of all business transactions. Auditor though has good knowledge of accounting, but sometimes business varies and he may don't have proper business sense and may not understand the nature of each and every transaction. So audit has this limitation also. And auditor merely expresses his opinion. He say, in my opinion, that books and balance sheet show true and fair view, but it is not 100% guarantee. And auditor does not enjoy practical freedom, even though an auditor is considered as independent person, but his rights, duties, responsibilities are specified in Companies Act. And managers themselves appoint auditors. So if the person is not in accordance with the management, then they will not appoint such an auditor. So in theoretical words, we say that auditor enjoys a practical freedom, but in true sense, sometimes it is not found. Thank you.